Good evening to guys, to everyone, guys. Good evening to all the guys, and good evening to all the girls. This is J. Randy here. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me. Tiff Kaya, what's up, my man? And please share my video. It's Saturday, so thank you for joining me here, guys. Thank you for joining me here. We got a few video to discuss, and just take a look at the the string of message passing down here. That's what we're going to discuss today. So if you just joining, just share the video, guys. Let me see whether you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Let's see here. Hello? So if you just joining, just share the video, guys. So you guys can hear me. Hello? 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 Let's see here. Hello? So if you just joining, just share the video. You guys can hear me. All right. So share my video, guys. I am sharing it here. What the hell is this? Something interesting going on. Emergency trauma. What is this Yvonne here? Where is this Yvonne? Says Yvonne, are you here? Let me see what else she here. Says Yvonne, is she here? Let me see what else she here. Says Yvonne here. Hey, Money, what's up? Go, what's up, go? Alex Hayes. Ele pa ina ai. Ele ina ai topic there. Alexander Hayes. He always out here topic. That boy like crazy boy. Alex Hayes. He always out here for the topic there. Oh, Moyu, please forgive me. I just tag you again, Moyu. Forgive me, Moyu. I just tag you again. He said, he really thought so. Hey, Michelle. The car just started, Michelle. So you're not late yet, Mitch. You're not late yet, Mitch. Thank you for showing up, bro. You back from your vacation now, Michelle? I hope you back from your vacation. I hope you had a great time. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I'm cruising in this office today because the owner of the office is not here today. So I have to get all of that my leg corner there to come outside here today. So I'm privileged to be in the office here today. And thank you guys so much for joining me here in this office here. All right. So it's Saturday evening, and I would like to welcome every one of you guys here today. Thank you guys so much for taking out your time and for doing the great things. Guys, the overwhelming support that I'm getting, and I can now hold it back, but come to tell you guys here that, yes, we are getting a lot of overwhelming support. There's a gentleman, I don't know why he asked me to say his name or not, but you'll not believe what the guy said today. I just have to just break the story to you guys. So I'm sitting out here because today I've been all here doing some stuff. So I called him up. I mean, he called me up, my phone rang, and he said to me, "Hey Randy," I said, "Yes, what's going on?" He said, "My man, I got some guys in here. These are Liberian guys, but they got a radio station that broadcasts around the world." And so I said, "So what do you want me to do?" He said, "I want you to speak to the guy." So the guy, he introduced me to the guy, and I said hi, and he said, "This is Jay Randy." I said, "Yes." He said, "Wow, nice meeting you." And so the guy said, "Look, my man, the only thing I can do for you, he got broadcast around the world, and and I want you to have a time slot on the show." And I was like, "What? Time slot on the show?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Damn, this thing getting scary down." And he said, "Don't worry, I'm going to pay for it. Just find the time slot." So I think he said he had Tuesday. Tuesday and Friday, but somebody is about to take the Friday slot. So he said, "Okay, just give me some time, Randy. I'm going to work with you guys." And so the goal here is he wants me to, like the way I'm broadcasting now, if that opportunity is given, um, they will provide us the time and we'll be able to broadcast in Liberia. And anyone who has an internet access to internet in Liberia will be able to listen to us at that particular time of our broadcast. But we will also be broadcasting around the world, according to them. So I'm very excited, and I couldn't hold the news, but come to let you guys know here. The overwhelming support that I'm getting from the folk from the ANC, I don't. I mean, I can't say or express more thing, but I mean, for the CDC, I was not getting that than what I'm getting now. Maybe things have changed, but I mean, folks will just call you and willing to do whatever it takes. And I just want to bless every one of you. I mean, I ask God to bless every one of you guys for your overwhelming support. We are here on the field, on the battlefront. All we can do right now is to just continue on to push and push and push and push and see what we can do to get the ball rolling. And we want to get Mr. Cummings to the finish line, and all it takes is your support. And I am very happy for such a blessing from you guys. I see the commitment, I see the seriousness from you guys, and I just want to say a big thank you to every one of you guys. Yes, so you're continuing to do the good work you're doing. We are here, we are doing extremely well. So I have spoken to my big five, I mean my big 10. The strategy that we are planning is a very, very interesting strategy. And I mean, it will blow your mind when you hear that. And I'm looking forward to bringing that out in the coming week. Like I said, by Monday, we will be starting the Common Vision show, and that show will be nothing but a Common Vision. Even if anybody calls into the show, we expect them to come and be able to explain in their own understanding about the Common Vision. Because, like I said this morning, my goal here is from now to December, anyone who will visit Liberia or have a conversation with someone in Liberia, and the name of coming should be on that person's lips, or they should be able to explain something about Mr. Cummings. So that's something that I'm working towards, and every day. And I ask for your prayers to to be with us, every one of us who are on the battlefront. News from Mr. Cummings to me and to you. He has written me twice, and he appreciate what we do here. Um, I don't know. I'm thinking whether I will. I mean, I should invite him here one of these days, to see what when he can just come and say hi to you guys, and say what he has to say to you guys here. I think you guys deserve that. So I will try to contact him in the coming weeks. But as far as the communication go, he is doing everything possible to reach out, and and so I'm very grateful to God for such an opportunity. I never saw anything like this before. So to have a political leader reaching out to you just on less than 1 month, just on less than 1 month to having reaching out is something that I cannot give you guys all the detail. But what I want to assure you guys is he's actually in touch. He commended us, and for what we're doing, and he just asked that we give him the opportunity. So I just want to ask every one of you guys. My goal on Facebook here is not to get the bigger number that other people get. No, my goal here is to interact with you guys, show you guys what I need, what I think we need to understand. But our target is in Morovia. Yes, my target is in Morovia. And thank God that we are working very hard to get things done in Liberia. Like I said this morning, we have purchased a new phone, and thank God for your contribution. We purchased the phone. The phone is now in Liberia, and that would be a dedicated line. So whenever I call into the show, there will be no interruption because that line is dedicated to me where I'll be able to talk. And then the line that I used to use previously, that line will be open now for you guys to call into the show. And guys, please, if you are awake at that time of the morning, please do your part. And do your part. Call into the show. Make sure that you say something about Mr. Cummings. And because the goal here is for us to search the name of Mr. Cummings into the ears of the Liberian people. Yes. So when the lines are open, please make sure that you call and say something about Mr. Cummings' effort in the country. That would definitely help. There are other strategies that we are working on for protective reason. I cannot say it here. I have spoken to a few people who clearly understood what my plans are. They are highly excited about the plan, and but we cannot come here to say, but as the plan continues to unveil itself, you will get to see it and you'll be very amazed. Yes, you will be amazed. So we are doing well. We are doing extremely well. I had a conversation today. Again, there is another um, program that is broadcast in Liberia other than the one I'm doing. The person wanted me to be on that panel discussing issue in Liberia. That's another exciting news there. So I cannot express my biggest thank you to those who are doing everything here to help. I just want to say thank God for that. With God heading our way, with God leading our direction, I believe we will do more, in this election, and we'll do everything. I'm counting on God to direct my path. I'm counting on Him to bless Mr. Coleman in each and every way to lead us in the direction that we all can look forward to a happy Liberia. The reason here is the country is bleeding. The soul of the country is in complete disarray. And all we can do right now is to continue to fight for the soul of that country. And I think Mr. Comey clearly understands that. And all Liberians who want the better for Liberia, guys, you have to do the best you can. And today is Saturday. Many of us who live outside of Liberia, we have good time with our family. We have good time with our loved ones. We enjoy ourselves. But if you think about it, our people back home are catching hell. Yes, not hard time now. Hard time is beyond their, reach. The hard time has passed and they're going into hell now. They are catching hell. And whatever it takes, whatever we can do to help, let us go ahead and do it. All right. So I have a few videos here for you guys today that we are going to go through. These are some of the areas that Mr. Weah and the past administration have failed the Liberian people. And today, this video is going to break your heart, but I want you to be very strong because Mr. Cummings continued to explain his vision. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to support Mr. Cummings because he is putting forward his vision. Yes, he is putting forward a vision that you can see and you can look at it and create your own, however you want to create it, whether a dashboard, whether a monitoring board, but you'll be able to follow Mr. Cummings and progress in what he plans to do for the country. And like the 5 why, what, and the 5 how. You saw that video, And I will continue to play that video here for you so that you can get to understand what Mr. Cummings' vision is. So tonight we are going to look at the issue of water in the country, safe drinking water. We take water drinking in this country for granted, but I want to just remind you that the water that we drink in this country, it goes through a lot of processes, it goes through a lot of regulations, and before it get to us, it actually become a very good and drinking source of water. So when we look at Liberia, we're going to analyze some video here. And while looking at that video, we draw some questions that we need to ask. All right. So we're going to bring video here. All right. We are going to bring some video here that start from let me see, where am I going to start the video? Let's see here. So we actually had 3 videos. I want to start with the first one here. We're going to look at the drinking water. Part of Mr. Cummings' plan is to look at good healthcare in the country. And good healthcare also means drinking safe and healthy water. It helps to promote the healthcare in our country. So without delay, we are going to put the video up here. Let me see where I can get the video up here. I hope that's the one I'm looking for. No, it should be this one right here. Let me put this one up here and see.
Water Aid Liberia. Access to water as a basic fundamental right of citizens has become a struggle.
All right, hold on there, guys. Let's see something here. I want to make sure that's the right video here. Sanitation.
Liberia's water problem is not a new issue. It has been there since the country's 14-year civil war, which destroyed the country's hydroelectric plant, the Mount Coffee Hydroelectric.
All right, guys. So by way of presentation, this is not the right video. This video will come. But what I want us to do, I want us to go back and look at the past administration video, so that way you can get a sense of why I'm here to prove to you that Mr. Weah is not doing anything for the people of Liberia, right? So let's come to the other video here. All right, this one.
Lot of poor sanitation. More.
So let's go back. This one here is from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. All right. So let's go back. And hey, Facebook, just a disclaimer: the music that you're hearing in this video is not my music. It's just part of the presentation. We have no right to the beat of any song you're hearing on this, in this video. So we just want to, make that disclaimer. So let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning here, guys. So we're going to be talking about water, right? So Mr. Weah on his platform said that he has concern about water, hygiene, and sanitation. So let's go back. And let's go back, as you can see here, giving voice to health, safe water, and sanitation. All right, let's listen.
The lack of sanitation and safe water is a worldwide problem. According to statistics, over 1.1 billion people do not have access to clean water. Every 20 seconds, a child dies as a result of poor sanitation. More than 3.4 million people die each year due to the lack of access to clean water and sanitation. The majority are women and children in rural poor areas who lack access to safe water and sanitation. More than 900 million people rely on unimproved drinking water supplies. About 2.6 billion people have the developing world lack even a simple improved latrine. Due to slow progress and population growth, The number of people living without access is expected to increase dramatically by 2015 if nothing is done to improve the situation.
So, guys, let me just hold you guys there. You just listen to the guy saying by the year 2015. This video, as you see here, of Liberia was actually recorded in 2012. Now we have by 2015. So that population or number he's talking about, it has already increased beyond what he projected at that time. But the reason we're going back here is I'm going to show you where Mr. Weah failed and why he has failed in every area in our country, right? So today we're going to look at the issue of water, all right? We will look at the statistics of the NA administration, and the question to George Weah is, what has he done against that statistics, which I will say to you up front, nothing he has done. Yes, absolutely nothing. So let's listen more.
Africa alone have about half of the worldwide water and sanitation problem. In Liberia, more than 1.2 million 32.
So as you can see over there in Liberia, all right, 1.2 million people. That is 32% of the people in Monrovia. They do not have access to clean drinking water. Now, against that 32%, we have been in office for 5 years. Has it reduced that percentage or has it gone up? This is the highest level of George Weah incompetency that we are here to explore and expose today. So I want you to take a look at that data there. 1.2 million people. That is 32% of our population that don't have access to clean drinking water and safe drinking water. Listen.
2% of the population, people lack access to safe drinking water. The report also states that 3.2 million, 83% of the population, do not have access to sanitation. In some part of Liberia,
you hear that again? So let's go back again and then listen. Water, lack of safe drinking water, 32%. Let's see those when it comes to the issue of sanitation. All right. That is where people go and defecate, where people go and urinate. Let's look at that number again. It said 83%, right? So let's go back and look at that number again. Let's
that 3.2 million, 83% of the population.
So that means that's the entire population in our country. All right. 83% of our people do not have access to sanitation or sanitary condition where they're supposed to go and defecate, like brother message to go and poo-poo and go and pee. We don't have none of those things. All right. So you see the thing. 1.2 million of our people do not have access to safe drinking water. That's 32%. Now, when it comes to sanitation, we got 83%. All right. So let's look and continue to listen here. All right.
Do not have access to sanitation. In some part of Liberia, especially in overpopulated areas like cities and towns, waste management is a very big problem. Water bodies and streets are commonly used as trash cans. Investigation proves that many Liberians upcountry still drink from creeks, rivers, etc. They also use nearby bushes, dump sites, beaches, and water banks to defecate. Estimates also prove that over 11,900 people die every year due to poor water and sanitation in Liberia.
We don't have no place to get drinking water, nothing. We need to go all the way.
So let me just put this into context here, right, guys? So let's put this into context here. Some of the things that I want to draw to your attention here. All right, so let's come and put this into context here. You listen to the statistics over there. And, this video, the guy is actually giving all the statistics when it comes to safe drinking water, when it comes to sanitation. We have 32%, we got 83%. Those are the challenges we have. How do we now put together a solution plan? A solution plan that will begin to reduce the highest percentage. Oh my God, who's calling me here? I don't know. Some guy just very crazy around here. All right, you can call me time of day when I'm broadcasting. All right, so guys, let me apologize. and for what's going on over there. I hope the guy doesn't call me back again. Because if he does, I will have be left with no choice but to block him. All right. So we have the statistics. The statistics is saying that 1.2 million people do not have access to safe drinking water. We have 83% do not have proper sanitation to defecate or to urinate. What do we do with our problems? What do we do with the problem? Mr. Weah have been in office for what? For 5 years now. All right. That's percentage. How do we know that Mr. Weah has done something towards that problem? You see, the coming administration, these are things that we are going to look at. We are going to look at the statistics of what are the challenges in the health sector and in the environment. And we'll begin to solve these problems by developing programs, by engaging the people. You imagine that Mr. Weah government this year should be coming up. They got a WASH program, right? The water, sanitation, and hygiene that is under the SGS goal. All right. That we have not seen any report from that institution as to what they has done. But we do have facts that are coming from credible institutions that are telling us, aside from not having safe drinking water, aside from not having proper sanitation, 11 point some more people die in the country that we don't know of. But these statistics are coming from institutions, credible institutions that are partner in our country. But what we fail to get from our own government are reports that show their progress. So that's what we are. That's what we are. So the question here is, when we post to George Weah after 5 years, which where is the list of sectors in the country, whether it is ministry or agency, that are doing some work to prove to the Liberian people that they're not eating money for free? There's no report on those things, but we are seeing the statistics here, right? So let's move by and let's listen to the lady providing solution. And make no mistake, these ladies who are the general population of our people, they got solutions. So I want you to pay attention to some of the individual communities and individual themselves who are affected by the water and sanitation during the early days, and then you're going to come to the weird time and see. So we have a problem that roll over from the weird time to the particular time here. All right. So let's make progress here. Let me see what I can broadcast in 2.4G here. Yeah, I think I want to go to 2.4G. Let's see here. In the meantime, let's continue to play this here. All right, let's continue to play this. All right, let's continue to play this.
We play street for water.
What are some of the things that you want to see happen?
At least it can help us to cover the green. At least it will help us. So you open at the whole day. Everybody just tolling there, chunking it all over. At least it can help us to close the whole place. It can go far for us.
And then what would you like for them to help the community?
No, for the people that have the community, bring him from there, so the community of water always. Wow.
My name is William David, speaking to you. I've been sanitation job for LME almost 2 years now. I don't have no requirement pay now.
Can I ask you, what are some of the difficulties you people go through in cleaning up, especially a place where that is overcrowded, like the water side?
The whole community bring that to the street. The whole community bring that. And in the store you see bring that to the street. But they say that they pay money, they say the corporation. Westman pay $150 US, $75 US, $50 US every month. But the store is still dirty. And so the corporation, MCC, well, they don't know what they're doing. They see the drop out of the street. So I don't know, my brother, I don't know.
Oh, Mama Liberia, you gotta wash her.
So guys, you listen to the guy in the street there, right? The sanitation worker, right? He just told us about the source of the problem. He said that dirt comes from the marketplaces and from the store that along the street of Monrovia or any areas. So we understand where the source of the trash coming from. Yes, we understand where the source of the trash is coming from. So what do we do in our light? We are trying to understand why the government up to now hasn't come up with any program to solution. But we do have the generating factors that lead to too much trash in the street. So let's listen to this guy here again. Let's listen to this guy right here. All right. Let's bring this guy in here. Let's listen to this guy right here. All right. He's about to say something here to us. Let's listen to him right now. So let me just play that for you guys.
You gotta wash up now. You have a long journey to go from dump to dust. So you gotta wash up in the morning. People running, jumping, get some will still be sleeping. Why others going on to do their duty? What are you waiting for? So you gotta wash up. Gotta wash up. The sleeping people must wake up. Don't you mind some of them? For them behalf, what are you looking for? On their bed, pillow, way down in the book, lying on it. So you gotta wash up. My name is King Marvin Slow, sliding down the mountain, the water of the mountain. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I do reggae music, and I'm emphasizing on this thing that you are talking about today.
Very good.
Because whenever the city is clean, you will see that there will be more hefty to you and I in our life.
Yeah, the advice I have for those people out there is that we all should keep sanitation very, 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 very serious. I pray that the message from this project will surely go out into the world, let people to know what sanitation is all about. And I also pray that organizations out there who probably hear this song knows what impact it's going to make in our society and then help in any possible way.
I think the first thing that we should start with is education, because I think when the proper education being put in place, I think it's going to help, if not eradicate, but at least minimize it in a way that, you know, people, we can be able to reduce the rate of which people fall ill. Music is one thing that we need to educate the people with, both on radio, on the television, on billboards, banners, posters, on the internet. I mean, whatever social media platforms that we can be able to get.
Well, first of all, as an artist and as a regular person, I think that our people, as in Africans, should take the initiative to start cleaning up their surroundings and not only depend on government. Government can't do everything, okay? We need to take a stand. We need to start doing things for ourselves because we're the ones who are going to benefit from them. That's the only way to go.
All right, so let me just say a few things in regards to that, right? You see, the role of the government is to provide guardians to how people should behave, right? So the first guy spoke about creating awareness, and the second guy spoke about education. The third girl is looking at shared responsibility. But how do we implement shared responsibility? All right, you would think that the exact thing that people are doing, it is their responsibility. Yes, they come outside, they throw the dead to a specific location away from their home. They think that they are doing their part, but technically, what they are doing is impacting the environment in a negative way. So, in order for you to hold any group of people accountable, the question here is, what have you done to work with that particular group of people in terms of what are the expectations? But before you get to the expectation, what are you telling them that they fully understand before the expectation will come into play? You see, in Liberia today, we see our people throwing dead here and there, but we haven't understood why they are doing those things. Are they doing it because they think that the right thing they're doing, or are they doing it because they have not received the rightful information? In this country where you and myself live, you can just take that and throw it there outside, and in your community, because you are being told that if you do such a thing, you will be fined and you will have to pay that fine. And if possible, there's a possibility of you doing jail time or some community service. So when those information are given to you, or that such information is given to you, you use that as your guide to stay away from trouble. In Liberia, we know where the source of the debt comes from. It comes from the store owners. It comes from the marketeers. They put the debt out there. People go and buy stuff in the market. They plastic wrap them or the paper wrap them. They take it home. When they get a final product out there, they come and put a debt in their community. So we cannot blame these people who are doing these things. But what we can say here is how much is the government doing in order to provide the people with the guidelines as to what they need to do. And that one of the place where the Weah government is failing. And they are not going to the source of the problem and begin to solve those problems and giving it. But every problem, especially when it involves a community of people, you first want to sit down with the community and discuss with them what the problems are, hear from them, let them tell you what are the challenges they're going through and what you can do to begin to help. Mr. Weah and a government official had no clue about these things, but guess what? Mr. Cummings and his people are working on these things. I can't reveal more to you right now, but I can guarantee you that there are plans in the pipeline that after 2023, when Mr. Cummings is in that office in 2024, you are going to see a new day in the life of our people. Community people will be engaged. They will have to participate in their contribution as to what needs to be done to improve their community. It's not going to be, yes, the law here, you're going to do it, do things. No, it's not going to be done that way. It's going to take a participation, a teamwork of stuff. I've seen the blueprint, and that blueprint, I'm not going to hold back here. That blueprint of Mr. Cummings is going to involve many Liberians across the country in every community. They're going to work together, they're going to participate, they're going to add their voices to the solution. That's something that Mr. Weah doesn't understand. So let me progress here, guys. Let's listen a little bit here, right?
Well, I think we need more education on it.
There you go.
Awareness.
There you go.
We need help to create more public awareness through songs,
There you go.
be it movies, in the classrooms, or whatever. But we need to create public awareness so that the people, our citizens, and other people around Africa, West Africa, and Liberia can also be educated and know that they're not supposed to throw trash on the ground. They're not supposed to drink dirty water. And we need those facilities to help our people. With education, everything is possible. The poor people, they're not only waiting to enter in the classroom before they learn about sanitation, this, that, the other. For them, it doesn't mean anything. But when they see their artists on the streets singing and dancing, they're interested. They gather around, and that's where they hear the message in the song. Saying, oh, keep your area clean, do this, do that. And they're like, wow, okay, we have our artists talking about this. I think this is what we need to do. Typical example. We went on set today to record, and right after we got through singing the song, this guy looked at the other guy, say, hey you, I hope you're not going to throw that dirty water over there. Don't put it there. I mean, the message was clear. It got to him. So we need more of that.
I like the solution, but one thing she did not put in there is accountability. She did mention about the expectation, right? She did talk about the expectation. You see, when you want to implement a full-blown plan, you come up with a plan, you look at the challenges, you provide a solution, and you come up with the expectation, and then you look at the enforcement aspect of it. For example, where she said after the song, she asked the guy, what are you going to do? Are you going to put it there? Well, please don't do that. The next thing, if you do that, you will be taken to court and you will be charged for littering. You see, one of the things that is preventing us from doing the right thing in Liberia is because people are not being held accountable for their bad behaviors. People need to be held accountable for their bad behavior. You can put all the other plan in it, but when you don't have the enforcement aspect of it, it's never going to work. It's never going to hold. And that's something that we need to also. You come up with a plan, you look at a solution, you get the people involved, you put together a solution plan, and then you discuss the expectation. And those who will be in non-compliance repeatedly, then they have to face some consequences. in the developed world where we live at, if you start to litter in the street, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be pulled over by the police and they're going to issue you a ticket, right? And you have to go to the court to pay for that ticket. And more repeated offense could lead to something else. So what I see happening in the country, those are things that we need to look at and begin to discuss and put together a robust plan. Now, let's go to the next video here, all right? Let's go to the next video here because this video is going to give us some sense. So let's come to the next one. And this one was from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, right? So let's look at this one here.
Covering the continent's water issues. His story was done in partnership with the...
Let's start this over here.
Finally, tonight, a West African country struggles to recover from years of conflict and aims to provide its citizens with very basic needs, including safe drinking water. Special correspondent Steve Sapienza has another of his collaborations with African journalists covering the continent's water issues. His story was done in partnership with the Pulitzer Center on Crisis Reporting.
Since 1980, the West African nation of Liberia has been through a cycle of bloody civil war that has claimed over 200,000 lives. Reporter T.C. Bole survived the turmoil and is now pushing the government to tackle a water crisis that arose during the war years, a crisis that is still claiming.
So guys, what I want you to understand from the video here, is the fundamental, it is the fundamental problem that came from the early administration and Mr. Weah failure to identify those problems and present it to the Liberian people and let them know that this is where we are with the issue of water, and we're going to work to do everything possible to begin to improve the issue of not having good water, program in our country. So you're going to listen to this girl explaining about what has happened during the early administration. And then right after this video, we are going to bring a current day Weah government challenges as it comes to water in the country, safe drinking water. And you will be able to see now what the Ellen do, what the Ellen did not do, and what Weah is not doing now. Those two data will tell you that something is fundamentally wrong and is happening to our people on the ground. So let's listen to this video. Listen to the video from the Ellen Johnson administration time, all right?
Lives today. Radio journalist T.C. Bole wants to know why a reliable supply of clean water to Monrovia's slums remains outside the reach of government and aid agencies. I met T.C. at the Liberian Women's Democracy radio station on the outskirts of the capital. Her drive to report about Liberians' daily struggle to find clean water was undoubtedly shaped by growing up in a war zone.
When the war was really hot in Liberia, I would get up early morning to fetch water for my mom. As soon as the shooting subsides, I would go sneak, get a bucket or two, and come indoor. There was no other alternative. We needed the water. Otherwise, we would die.
During the war, tens of thousands of Liberians fled the violence in rural areas in search of food and shelter in the capital. A decade later, Monrovia's slums remain badly overcrowded, and those who eluded war now face new dangers.
It's a high demand for clean water now in these places because the population overstressed the already limited services.
At the Randalls Road slum, a group of war amputees tells TC that their pump hasn't worked in over 1 month, a heavy burden to those living on less than $1 a day.
The water source itself, when we went to that community, you see there's a whole dock around the well. That means somebody who is physically challenged can't get there to get the water.
To get water here is hard. We have to pay some of our brothers to get to the well there and buy the water, bring it here to us so that we can get water to take bath.
18% of all deaths.
So now, guys, here where we are now, right? So the story that is being explained is filled with the challenges that anyone, especially George Weah, who wanted to be president after Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So from people who are creating awareness to people who are victims, they are all telling the challenges they have. And as you listen to the condition these people are facing or faced with at that time, you will imagine that Mr. Weah, as president, will get the smart and brightest people who will clearly understand the challenges of improving water drinking or safe water drinking in the country. You will imagine But has he done any of this thing yet? No. So listen to what the people are saying. I want you to understand the challenges these people are going through. And when we get to the final video that is in the present day of George Weah, that when you get to know that this government has failed and failed miserably. All right. So just listen to the challenges from the people, because the people will tell you their challenges. They tell you what are some of the challenges they are, encountering every day. And then you now supposed to look at it and say, wow, geez, I understand the challenges people are going through. And I think we need to come up with a strategic plan to begin to solve this problem here. All right. So let's watch the video clip here. All right. Very key.
Deaths here are caused by waterborne illnesses like diarrhea, malaria, and cholera, according to the World Health Organization. One recent World Bank study found E. coli, an indicator of widespread fecal contamination, in 58% of water sources across Monrovia. These are sobering statistics for President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is recognized internationally for her work on water issues. She pledged in 2008 that water access in Liberia would double in 4 years. Achieving this target is the job of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation and its managing director, Nortu Japa.
I visited a community yesterday, and I want to know why the water supply to that community is irregular.
Okay, so I think I talked about the issue of our capacity issue. We ration water. Most of our infrastructures have lived their useful lives. At the end of the day, most of them needs to be replaced. And we've had a constant breakdown of machines and pumps. So it's our plan that once we have some of these technical issues reckoned with, so we will be able to get water to Monrovia in its entirety.
How soon do we expect to see?
I will assume that probably just by the end of the year.
As proof the government was on target, Mr. Japa cited a recent project.
For the past 21 years, there has not been water on the Somalia Drive area. Just recently, the president and I, we dedicated or opened the first water main since 1990. So people along the Somalia Drive now have pipeline water.
Curious to see if rhetoric matched reality, TC left the interview and went straight to Somalia Drive. After several hours of fruitless searching, she found no evidence of water flowing from city pipes to local taps.
Since the war, it only came once.
TC did find a local man profiting from the water shortage by reselling bags of water, but he also had seen no proof the city was pumping water to his neighbor.
So guys, you see that? All right. So let's pay attention here. I mean, we are doing what we call retroactive findings, right? So we knew that Ellen Johnson said he had enough money from the international partner. You just saw the water and sewer manager during the Ellen Johnson days telling this girl who had lived through the war and told you her story. You see, when people experience things, they become teacher. They become an advocate for the situation. This girl started her story by telling you and I that during the war, there were difficulties in getting drinking water, right? So she had to go out there and fetch for water. Now the war is over. She's like, geez, this thing had never killed me and my parents. So I'm going to be the champion or advocate. To advocate for these things. Now, according to the narrative, she went and met the guy from the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the managing director. He said some things, but he specifically gave a geographic location as to where water is coming from. She went there because you always got to trust the source, but go and verify. She went there and verified those things, and it did not exist. Now, why am I bringing this up? We see this video documentary that telling us that there have been issues with water and sanitation in the past. The question to you here is, if you were to go to that same community today, and many other communities, under the government of George Weah, who took office from Ellen, what would be the situation? Will it be the same, or has it improved? The failure of George Weah government is the ability and the incapacity, or let's forget about the incapacity, but it is the ignorance and sheer pride to not seek for experienced people to help them conduct these things that I call job performance assessment, to look at a gap. Never did that. So let's finish the girl story, and then we'll be going back now to the current day reality under the Weah administration. And that's why you see today, folks, and starting Monday, we are going to be looking at this thing here. All right. I don't want to show it to you guys here because I don't want to interfere with that. But we will be looking at Mr. Cummings' vision, as you can see it here on my screen here. All right. So starting from next week, this is how we're going to present Mr. Cummings' vision, right? We're going to look at the failure in this government, what the government failed to implement before we even think about achieving. And then we'll bring the vision of Mr. Cummings in there, whether it will be video or whether it will be some documentary. And then we expand on it and tell you where the government continue to fail. Until that time comes, we are looking at the raw failure here, right? So this video is telling you about the challenges that the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration left in the hands of George Weah. But what had George Weah done to fix it? That's the question we're trying to find. I mean, that's the answer we're trying to find here today. All right, so let's go back to the video.
Before the war, we get water all around here. Okay. But now we don't know where's the problem.
Kula Borbor fled heavy fighting in the interior during Liberia's civil war and came to West Point, one of Monrovia's largest slums. She arrived with her husband and 4 young children, only to face another battle.
But I didn't know because we get here, we started drinking good water. It went and hit the back, the death from in our stomach. So he didn't make it.
When cholera took Kula's husband, she thought about going back to her village. But she stayed and now teaches her neighbors how to purify water and prevent deadly diarrhea in infants. This is life-saving knowledge in a slum of 60,000 people, where most residents buy suspect water from vendors or fetch water from dirty wells.
How do you feel when you save somebody's life with that solution you made there?
I feel happy because I don't want people to be like me. So I feel happy because when I lose my husband, I suffer with my children.
And the president said that there are water supply to communities like West Point. And clearly we went to West Point, there's no pipe water there. There's no pipe water. The people in West Point will have to buy the 5-gallon container of water.
Unfortunately, the rising urban population and waterborne illnesses are spreading faster than city pipes.
Some of these people who work in government, they have people who are working under them in the various departments. They come back and paint a picture like everything is fine. And actually, they are not fine. I think the bosses themselves have to go on the field and see the reality.
TC's reporting exposes the gap between the Liberian government's claim it has addressed critical water problems and the actual conditions faced by Monrovia's residents.
So that was it right there, guys. That was it right there. That was it right there. That was it right there. All right? That was it right there. And let me expand on some. You see, when Mr. Weah supports us telling you, oh, the president doing well, the president doing well, the reason we need to ask them for the physical evidence is because they are lying to you. It's because what? They are lying to you. Mr. Weah, people will tell you, say the president doing well, the president doing well. You listen to this girl, you watch this girl. The water and sewer managing director told her that they got water supply. She went to the location, no water. She's now telling you that there are some government officials who are in the field that come and tell their bosses that they had done a job, but in reality, the job wasn't done. Now, what do we do with misinformation and I consider as disinformation? Because disinformation is telling pure lies. Misinformation is looking at something but twisting it to your own liking. But disinformation, it doesn't exist, but you're lying about it. Now, how do we face that problem today with the Weah people? Weah people will tell you, say, oh, the president doing well, the president too strong, the president do this, the president did this. But how do we see what they're talking about? When they present to us any documentation, we will take our time to go from one community to another to see what Mr. Weah said that he's doing. That's what they're not doing. That is the problem. That's the problem. So let's listen to the story again, guys. So Mr. Weah is a total failure. Do not listen to any sedition who will come here and tell you the president didn't want it, the president on that side, he didn't want it. No. Let them give you the physical evidence and so that you can go and find out. Yes. All right. Now let's continue here.
Until the government solves the problems, many more Liberians who fled the war, leaving towns and villages behind, risk losing their lives to a new foe, unsafe water.
You can learn more about...
So we're gonna close that one now, and then now we are going to come to the present day reality now. We're going to come to present day reality, the George Weah government. All right, let's come to the George Weah government here. All right, let's come to George Weah government here right now. So let's see here, where is he at? All right, let's come to the George Weah government here now.
Electric plant outside the capital, Monrovia.
So let's start from here.
Sanitation.
Let's play this, and after that song, then we start to listen to the narrative here now.
Liberia's water problem is not a new issue. It has been there since the country's 14-year civil war, which destroyed the country's hydroelectric plant, the Mount Coffee hydroelectric plant outside the capital, Monrovia. Some 19 years since the war ended, only 25% of the country's 4 million people have access to clean, safe drinking water. In 2013, Liberia devoted 1.2% of the national budget to the sector, dropping to 0.4% in 2014, a figure which has remained low since then, according to Water Aid Liberia. Access to water as a basic fundamental right of citizens has become a struggle for survival for most Liberians. The lack of access to safe, clean water, especially mass shortages across the capital, Monrovia, and its surroundings, including the slum of West Point, during the continuing dry spell there, remains a big challenge. Locals in West Point, the country's biggest slum community, feel the brunt of this problem, as most residents are forced to buy water from local vendors each day, an expense that piles up quickly. Prince City, 26-year-old, a West Point businessman, told Spawn TV that due to the contamination of the local wells, he has to purchase at least 15 gallons of water a day at the cost of $5 Liberian and sell it at $50 Liberian depending on the location of the buyer.
I live West Point, at 26 years old. Yeah. Well, no,
So guys, let listen to let expand on this a little bit here, right? So let's do this here quickly here. So this is, you just heard the word Spoon Network, right? Spoon Talk, Spoon TV. That means that we're not living in the 2015 era. We're not living in the 2017 era. We are living in today's era. What did you hear from the narrator? The narrator. The narrator is saying that we are living, the well in the country are contaminated, right? Contaminated drinking water. So Prince City here, as you see on the side here, Prince City is now becoming a supplier of water to the different community. The question here is, you watch all the video from the past of the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, and you will imagine that Mr. Weah, government official in the role of providing and protecting our community of people with better drinking water through supply, will capture the challenges that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and her government left in Mr. Weah's hands. But just from the opening of this conversation video here, the guy is telling you that the water is contaminated across most of the community. So what does that tell you about George Weah after 5 years? That the man got no damn clue about what he's talking about. He just got lucky that smart people put him into office. But the problem that Ellen Johnson said he left with the Liberian people, it hasn't been touched to even look and understand how the extent of the impact is today. So let's listen to the young man tell you the story. So you will imagine that if we are administration, we begin to solve some of these problems, but that's not true. So let's watch and listen to this young man explain what is happening in this current day of the challenges that we are facing. So let's go ahead and listen to him.
We also, what for myself, Nana, although I won't what God gave me. Yeah. So man, yesterday about 19, you know, they gotta do something for yourself. It's only family man. But also I do it very hard for where I do, you know, going in my hand, climbing upstairs, coming down, going so coming so, you know. It was very hard. Yeah. So now you go back far, you are very tired, and I can't go to do business, boy. So now I can get 2 days, 3 days, for a business where I very hard work. So it's not really can only shoot, you can also. Yeah, so now it's build, you can really bad it, and that's they can also. Yeah. But it was very hard work. So now you can get sick. When you can get sick, you know. I guess I got go hospital, treat myself, come back again only. Same money I'm making. I go out, I know I spend myself. Come back on the same hustle again. But now I don't do. I say going to school, but no, I love school here. You know, but the thing is how no support, no family far away from me. Yeah, and now I don't start born children, so now my education sit down. I want to go to school. So I just want for myself on how also to sustain myself. Yeah.
Due to the central government's failure to boost the budget needed to address the water shortage.
You hear that? So this is the job we are government that people praising here. And you know, this is the job we are government that the people praising here. Due to the government failure to add more money to the budget to improve safe drinking water standard in the country. But you got people in this country who live in here where some of us go to work and we take water sample, analyze the water sample to make sure that they don't have any chloroform in it, to make sure that they got safe drinking water in this country. Some of them sitting in this country here and don't even know the damn thing about the water they're drinking in this country. They got no clue. They got no clue about the water they are drinking in this country here. Many clinicians don't understand the water they're drinking. They will just run to the faucet right now, all right? Run to that faucet over there and just open it up or run to the refrigerator and get the water and drink. They got no damn clue about what that water process go through. But they will come and sit down on other platform and tell you the president doing well. Those people ain't worth your damn time. Let me tell you, they ain't worth your damn time. I see them like piece of shit. All right. So whoever come on the platform here and tell you, Joe, we are doing well. Let me be honest with you here. They are Liberian journalists myself, but if they come here to praise George Weah, to me, I see them as piece of shit. You know why? Because they don't understand the mess Mr. Weah is making in our country. And I want you and I to fight for the Liberians who have been disenchanted. You listen to that young man right now. He said because of the hardship, he dropped out of school, he having children now, and the work is so tedious that some days he doesn't go to work. Why? Because he had become the source of water supply for the millions of people in our country along with his friends. But then the government failure to improve the process, the program of making water safe and affordable across every community, they don't care. And you got the hanky-panky, douchebag, good for nothing Liberians calling themselves CDC supporter or CDC, sitting in another man country, don't even know the water or bottle they drink. They got no damn idea. I don't sit around here to argue with any sedition in this country because they ain't work for damn. Let me tell you right now. I would rather sit down with a dog and get a ball and roll the ball to a dog to bring it back to me than to go and sit down with a very low IQ sedition in this country here who want to come here and want to support George Weah, who is the emptiest president I ever see, a not so good smart president. This man here is so empty up here that you don't even know whether when daybreak he knows the time what to do, and then they want to come and justify things here. Ellen Johnson said the administration left a bundle of problems. Mr. Weah is not telling you today through his water and sanitation boss, through the Liberia Water and Sewer Director, as to where we are when it comes to safe drinking water. And that is why Mr. Weah need to be voted out of office, because this man is killing our people every day. Do you know how many people die of diarrhea and other diseases in the country? He's not giving those statistics out there. This man is so incompetent. We struggle to get the man elected, but that man has brought the biggest shame to us in our lifetime. And that is why we have to do everything possible to remove the man from office. He doesn't understand anything about government. You know, people were under the impression that this guy would bring smart people around him who will help him. You know, when this player from Holland, they call Michael Fabasti, when he was leaving Milan, they had some good players in there, but people felt that George Weah was in Paris. He was a good player. Aside from the other quality of player they have on AC Milan team, somebody said, you know what, we got this guy they call George Weah. He's an African guy. He played very good football. He played very good soccer, as we call it in America here. And they went and brought him on the team, and he became added value. For Mr. Weah to take that mindset, but because he's not a smart guy, he's not, experienced, he became president. He has everything that it takes in his hand to make Liberia better. Instead of taking that same model mindset where they went for him to France and brought him to join the other quality of player, he didn't say to himself, you know what, I haven't ran the government before. I got no idea. So what can I do? Let me go and get good people from abroad and in Liberia here to come and help me make this country that I'm not president successful. He never did none of those things. Never did none of those things here. You see, you don't have to be an experienced person 100% or 100%. You don't have to have all the degrees in the world, but you must be able to will him. The man they call Mr. Weah, his government is the first in the history of Liberia that have gotten the opportunity of social media, where many people from different backgrounds will sit on the platform in the nursing industry, security industry, you name all the different industry, and talk directly to the people of Liberia. But Mr. Weah doesn't care to take any advice from any Liberian. This man has reached the level that I believe that made him very, very incompetent. Nobody should ever grant Mr. Weah any clemency. He needs to be voted out of office. Let's continue with the video and hear what the guy has to say, all right? Let's continue with the video, all right? Let's continue with the video. Let's make progress here.
And related challenges. Local vendors see providing water as a business for survival, although it is hard work. Kwesia Abraham Gay say, a resident of Battery Factory, makes his living from selling water. Though only 38, he looks older than that due to the hard physical labor he does pushing around special.
38-year-old guy, look at him, 38-year-old man. The people are malnourished in the country too. Someone just gave me a narrative. Looking at the guy, he looks 38, but he looks like somebody in his 50s. All right? That's how bad the country is today. And then you got some sedition sitting there in this country, good for nothing sedition, but plus sedition. They don't even understand their left and their right in this country here. And then they will get at the president doing well, the president doing well. Can you imagine that? These are some of the people who embarrass our own race because they cannot tell the difference. And, you know, let's forget about the people back home. Let's forget about the people back home. What about the people who live in the developed country that see how things are moving from one end to another, but yet and still they cannot even recognize what it means to have a better country?
Giant wheelbarrows filled with water. He told Spoon TV of his daily struggle.
I'm Kwesia Abraham Gay. I live Battery Factory. I'm a college student. Initially I started at the time I was in grade school, 2002. It sponsored me to come out of high school, and then later on I was doing different things before I enrolled to college. But the few times I have some difficulties, I came back on the field. For now, it have little money because you can sell each gallon for $50. Yeah, we buy For reseason now, we're buying for 2 for 5. Yeah. So now I carry 12 gallons. The 12 gallons are 600. I have hauler that carry me. I'll pay $100. Then I'll be left with $450 because I need to buy the water. So in the daytime, so that I make 5 trips. So that I make 6 or 7 trips. I have child. It's supporting me. Because I have plenty. I really, because financial constraint, I really want to do this, save, and be able to do other things.
Each day, Cyrus Kono and his colleagues push traditionally made wheelbarrows carrying 50 containers of water from the slums of West Point to the hilltops of Monrovia and points in between, supplying water in exchange for money. To help the country deal with this serious water challenge, the World Bank approved US $10 million credit to Liberia to help address the acute water shortage in the capital. The International Development Association credit is meant to increase access to piped water supply services in Liberia's capital, Monrovia, and surrounding areas, and improve the operational efficiency of the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, the LWSC, said a World Bank press release. The Liberian Urban Water Supply Project is expected to benefit about 63,000 direct beneficiaries, 44% of them women and children. This has been a production of...
Now, listen there now, all right? Let's listen to that statistics, right? Yes, when you listen to that statistics, the government been in office for 5 years, and nothing has improved in the country. Absolutely nothing. Nothing has improved in the country. And that's why today Mr. Weah cannot give you any statistics, any progress report about his government. You got young people who are now making the last choice. They don't have option of choices in our country. A young man, instead of going to college, a young man, instead of getting skill, but they are barely living on one just to survive on a daily basis. He forced to go and draw water in order to survive. It's called from hand to mouth. No skills, nothing. Just a daily, broad day, hard labor work they are doing in the country. But then you get George Weah and his surrogates there. I tell you this much. Citizens that live in America here, I don't waste my time behind them. I really don't. They are not educated. They don't have any sense of humor. I am more focused about the people who are in Liberia. They are the one to focus on. Because they are the one who feeling the pain. They are the one who going through the struggle. Not these guys ain't around here. I don't worry myself about these guys around here. Because some of them don't even know how they got here. And they're not even thinking about going back home. They had never participated in any political arrangement before. So they just sit here and just talk, oh, George Weah is this, George Weah is that. Do not listen to them. You are wasting your time. So the Weah administration, when it comes to safe drinking water supply, they flunk big time because this guy is one of the very least and uneducated individual that you will ever see in your life. That who he is. You think the problem over? Let's go to another one. This one is going to break your heart. Yes, this one going to break your heart. And it's going to hit back home too. Yes, it's going to hit back home. It's coming right in my backyard. Yes, this one that you're about to see is coming right in my backyard. So what we have seen so far, Weah administration, yes, Weah administration have failed the Liberian people. Hey, Sissy Montreal, don't worry. You can always go back to watch a video, all right? You got to take care of what you got to take care of, all right? So anybody coming late who believe the change that is coming our way, who believe in those changes, please, when you're working in the back end on any significant thing, when you come here, just come and tag along. After the show, you can always go back to where we started. and be able to fill yourself in, and to where you jump in. When once you get it connected, it's a circle. Where you start a circle, you can always go around and come and hit, and then you'll be fine. But we are going to listen to another story. This story is going to hit home because it's coming from my own country. It's coming from my own country. It's a very sad story. If you ever imagine how I should be sounding when I if I could speak my dialect, as people would say, I want you to listen to this story here. This lady, she's from my county. She from where where my parents was born, because I was born in Yikipa when my parents work for Lamco. So I want you now. This is a very sorrowful story. Yes, very, very sorrowful story. But it goes to prove to you that George Weah is not doing anything to improve the challenges of our people, right? So let's go back to the next video. Very sorrowful. I will warn you. I'm going to warn you. Some of the expression are emotionally discouraging. But that's what we have today. It's not a long video. It's going to hit you hard. You're going to want to cry. You're going to be a little bit frustrated. All right? So let's listen, and let's listen good here. All right? Yes. All right. Let me see what the other person say here. Somebody say, J. Randy, which country in the world that citizens don't do liberal work for survival? That depends on the context, Mr. Tamba, the choice. All right? That depends on the context of the choice. You're asking because you're trying to justify something. It is one thing to do a liberal work to survive. It is another thing to have a government that's supposed to reduce what that labor is doing towards the people. You got a country of 5 million people that don't have safe drinking water. And people have to go and do an extra work that doesn't even meet the standard of how to even protect the safe drinking water. Do you think that gallons that the people are putting the water in and carrying it to supply to people, those gallons look very synthesized or synthesized? Do they meet any standard? That labor work the people are doing is for nothing. They are avoiding contaminated water, but the process that they're using to provide the so-called water, it still doesn't make no sense, because the water they're giving out there is not providing any water standard to qualify them based on the labor work they're doing. So it's good that you ask this question, but the question is not in the context of what I'm trying to explain. There are times they will tell you, say, you must work smarter and don't work harder. These people in Liberia are working harder, but they are not working smart. That water they carry over there, I don't know where you are in the world, but you cannot drink that water people carrying over there, because it has no standard of how to determine. And I'm not going to verify you or glorify you here, but I just want to address the issue that you don't understand what I'm talking about. And it's good that you ask this question and I just address it. All right. So let make progress there. It's not a matter of the labor work. The labor work they're doing is not measuring up to anything positive. They're avoiding the contaminated water, but the very water they are carrying and the shape and form in which they carry that water, it is a useful labor work they're doing over there that make no sense. All right. But some of you guys don't understand these things here because you don't work in the field. You have no intention of understanding these things, and you want to come and justify things here. Let me progress here. All right. So let's go to the next story that is very, very important, guys. It's going to touch you. You're going to feel hurt, but you just have to come to some realization that we are in trouble under the incompetent George Weah man that some are put into office. Yes, very, very incompetent. We let this man out there, and the expectation was to bring people around. You see, George W. Bush, who Mr. Obama, and succeeded. He was asked one time at his father's library by a journalist. The journalist looked at George W. Bush and said, Mr. Bush, people are saying that you're not a smart guy. He said, yes, I'm not smart. I mean, I came out of college with a CRH. And the guy said, but how did you manage to secure 2 terms in office? He said, I'm not a smart guy. But what I did was I brought smart people around me to make me successful. Every leader should look around to bring people around him to make him successful is to bring smart people around them. But Mr. Weah, he did the total opposite. He's not a smart guy. And then he brought worse and worse people around him who are not smart. And that's why the country is in such a way. And do you think that's the end? Let's watch the video. So now, if you ever imagine that you are going to listen to me speaking my mother tongue, which I cannot speak right now, I want to afford you the opportunity to listen to how our mother tongue from the southeastern sound like. I don't speak it. I hope somebody who will listen to this later on or now that understand my mother tongue will be able to explain. But I don't understand what they're going to say here because I don't speak it. I don't understand it. So let's get involved in it. But there will be portion where they will speak English and then we both will understand it. All right. So let's move on with that video. So please, but it's something, it's not about the tradition, but it is about the lifestyle that our people are going through and how can we fix that problem. All right. So let's
te atu itu wali ai ba die ade ama ba die ne nchu ti agre se kan churu nyenye enie mu odem usira se do kwe ide apata churu nyenye ese kan e mo kamenyu wote mo se ke wodio ye je omo wodio ye no agba unye churu ide ese kan ide aye churu de pateregbo die o churu nyenye se kanu o. My name is Martha Griffith. How myself is surprising to me. I'm Martha Griffith. It's not my doing. Since I was born, no one accused me before as a witchcraft. A friend of mine took my knee to the elders in the town. They cut me and they tied me. These are the marks on my hand with a twine that they can use to face the trap, and they beat me. They took me in the bush, and that's what they did to me. And they also raped me. They scraped me naked. They tied me up and they beat me. They raped me. They said they were going to kill me because I killed someone, so they beat me. And I told them I was not the one, and they brought me to Fishtown at the Women's Center of Medical Model. They took us to Medical Model in Fishtown. Later, the lady that called my name, she said that it was false, and they took us to Grand Cru. While we were in Grand Cru, the lady said that she lied on me. No one had to talk for me. What they told me, one of my child said he took her to Grand Cru, and I said, my people, this is not my doing. Since I was born, if I ever kill anybody, only God won't know. Only God I'm looking up to, because I know it was not my doing. And the ill treated me. When I'm always talking about it, I always remember the past. And I started to shed tears because I know it's not my doing. Only God above can save me from this trouble.
All right, guys. So let me just add one or two things to the video here, right? So what is happening in this video is this. This lady was accused of being a witchcraft. Instead of going through the normal process that we have in that part of the country, they took an extreme approach to the lady situation. The Sasewu, I mean, you imagine that the Sasewu practice should be out of range today, right? Yes. The act of taking it hot collars and putting it on the right or left leg of an individual should be something that we should be, that should be beyond us now, beyond us. But it's not. So you listen to her. She is saying that somebody accused her of being a witchcraft. And our tradition, the way to have someone confess is to take a hot iron after putting it in the fire, maybe go up to 400 or 500, and very hot, very hot. And the traditional man will say if the person is innocent, no matter how hot that iron is, if we put it on the side of that person's leg, it shouldn't burn that person. That doesn't really make sense, but in our tradition, it does make sense according to them. But is it true justice? Does it really work? Knowing the fact that Liberia is part of the League of Nations that have right for human being, and not to mention women's rights. And how do we face that problem today? We have a Ministry of Gender, right? We have the Ministry of Internal Affairs. If we want to modernize our country, how do we balance the scale between traditional practices that in some shape and form intimidate their own people, especially women? And then we have a ministry that say we are the ministry to protect women and children. How do they work with the Ministry of Internal Affairs that oversee all the traditional practices to protect women that are supposed to be giving him a right? That is why I'm presenting the video. Female mutilation that we used to have, people used to say, oh, don't take the young girl to the sandy bush. I think over the past years, since we entered the 21st century, many countries push back on that practices or that practice. And today it is scaling back. So what are we doing in Liberia when it comes to the issue of Sasiwu? Are we allowing the traditional practice of Sasiwu to supersede what we have at the government level? But what can the government do to liaison with the Ministry of Internal Affairs that oversee our traditional people by providing the new approach to how things should be done? Pizota is the Minister of Gender, right? You will imagine that some of her projects at Minister of Internal Affairs is to bring to light some of the inhumane treatment of women across the country, bringing some sense to how tradition violates women's rights. Is she doing those things? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So let's listen to the woman's story here. Now that I said it a little bit, let's listen to the woman's story here, right? Interesting story here. I think she died after some time, but let's listen to the story here, folks. All right, so let me just blow the screen off for you guys so you can listen to it here, right? Now let's move ahead here. All right. All right, so let me progress here. Let me blow this thing up here quickly here. Let me blow this thing up here. Somebody said Jay Randy, who is responsible for water security? Is the president responsible? Okay, let me address this question here, right? Let me address the guy question here. He said, Jay Randy, who is responsible for water security? No, it's not even water security for now. It is who is responsible for quality drinking water standard, not water security. We are not short of water. We are not short of water. When you start having water security, that means you want to protect the water. The issue here is who is responsible for quality drinking water standard. Mr. Tama, I know you got a graduation picture to prove that you know book, but you're playing with the wrong man in the wrong field right now. So it is not who is responsible for water security. We are not short of water. Your question should be who is responsible for ensuring that we have quality drinking water in the country, quality drinking water and safe drinking water. As president, we are responsible to ensure appropriate balance of water. What do you mean by appropriate balance of water? You see how some of you guys can misuse your terms. At this one, I'm going to really rip you apart here because you are in my area, my field of expertise, my subject matter area of expertise. What do you mean by to ensure appropriate balance? No. You should erase that whole sentence and say, is President Weah responsible to ensure that we have quality drinking water standards? Because water standards are standards that are established by environmental chemists, so there's nothing that appropriate balance. There's nothing that appropriate balance. So you might want to go in there and read on that comment because you're making yourself to be very bad here. But I will still answer the question. Yes, Mr. Weah is responsible to ensure, according to you now, that appropriate balance of water supply in the country. Yes. Why? Because the ministry of, in fact, I can't answer it based on the question you're asking because it's a dumbfounded question you're asking. And, but what I would say in addressing your question is the Liberia Water and Sewer Corporation, under the leadership of President Weah, who appoints the managing director, is to work with the Water and Sanitation Division or agency to ensure that Liberians are not only getting pipe-borne water supply, but they should also have water that is very standard in terms of the different standard, whether it is tap water, that they won't have right here, that tap water right there, whether it is bottle of water to make sure that the bottle itself doesn't contain BPA that contain cancer, to make sure that the facility where the water is produced is up to standard in terms of process and delivery, including the quality of the water. The government of Liberia, because they regulate institutions to make sure that they provide good services to the people, supposed to ensure through the president that these things are done, because the Liberia Water and Sewer Director should make sure that quality drinking water. Then the Water and Sanitation Hygiene should inspect these places along with the Ministry of Health to ensure that the facility, that is the working area, and then the Ministry of Labor to ensure that people who are doing this job are protected under the labor law. So there are so many components in there. Yes. So the question here is, Mr. Weah should ensure that these people are doing their job because they work for him. These institutions are not statute institutions. All right. What do you think the government can do to help improve the scarcity of water? Again, you're talking about scarcity of water. Liberia found itself in a very high rainforest area. So when you talk about water scarcity, you are wrong. I think you need to come to me and let lecture on some of these things here. Kind of remind me when I started my community college school in New Jersey many years ago. That woman asked me to write a sentence, my travel from Liberia to America. I went and started putting all the BB English in there. That woman ran that whole ink all through all that. What do you mean by scarcity of water? No. You listen to the narrator. He's saying safe drinking water, contaminated drinking water. Did he say water draft? He never talked about water draft. He never said Liberia is becoming a barren area. So why will you talk about water or scarcity? No. It should be, what can the government do to what? To improve the water standard in the country. Because the water standard in the country is poor. Unsafe drinking water means that the standard is not up to good. It's poor. So again, you have to rephrase that sentence and say, you know what, Randy, what do you think the government can do to improve safe drinking water in the country? And number one, I will tell you, the government of Liberia need to standardize the water. Every little element in the water, whether it is chloroform or any other standard, these standards must be a certain limit that the people can consume. It shouldn't be more. Think about you getting a glass and putting more sugar in the glass with water. If the water too sweet because of the sugar, it can harm you. Every water we drink contains some chemical standards, all right, elements. One is chloroform. It got to be a certain level so that it cannot kill you. Those are things we call the water standard. So we have safe drinking water standard. We have safe drinking water. We have quality drinking water. And then those standards got to be set by the government. I don't know which agency in the country should set those standards. I'm not here to tell Joe we are that because he's very incompetent. I'm not here to give him free advice. But what can the government do? Number one, the government need to take a water survey across every community. They can use the graphical information system to look at the different area where there are major wells. What are the contaminated area within that well? If it's well water, they got to make sure that there is not any behavior around there that will contaminate the water. If they will put something, I'm not going to discuss that again because when I start talking about it, I don't have no break. I just want to keep going. But I will hold myself not to go that far. But what the government can do, one, is to put in place a drinking water standard. If they don't have their own standard, go to the United Nations and look for the United Nations drinking water standard and make sure that everyone who provide water to any community meet those standards. Yes, you don't just have a guy in push carrying water and you don't know what is the contamination level of that water or what are the streams or elements in that drinking water. Two, they need to ensure that the standards, the regulation of anyone who is in a business of supplying water, that area, that process is inspected and meet the standard of having a safe drinking water. So safe drinking water must be regulated. It must have standard that everyone who is in the business of supplying water should meet the standard. If it will cause them to get certificate to be trained and issue certificate, they should be able to have a certificate to say, yes, I have gone through the training of providing safe drinking water standard in the country. Here's my certificate here. I know what I'm doing. My facility have been inspected. My process have been inspected. Those are things that Mr. Weah need to do. I'm not here to give him other answer because he's not a smart guy. He doesn't look for smart people. He's good for nothing individual. Let's come to your third point here. What do you think? Okay, I already read that one there. And I think that your last question. Okay, the last one here. What is your contribution in helping to solve the problem of water scarcity? Oh my God. I'm sitting on my butt here right now, giving all the information here. Don't you think what I'm doing right now here should be you paying $200 to sit down here and get a kind of lecture here? Yes, you should be sitting down here. What am I doing right now? I am teaching right now here. Tomorrow, Mr. Weah will think about it. Well, what is the meaning of safe drinking water? What is the meaning of quality drinking water? What is the meaning of water standards? If Mr. Weah walk tomorrow or on Monday and go to the United Nations or Environmental Protection Program, the United Nations Environmental Program Office and tell the person, I listen to a guy who was talking about, we don't have drinking water standard in the country. The post said, thank you, Mr. Weah. You learned something. Where did you learn it from? Where is that guy? He helped you a lot. Yes, you don't have drinking water standard here. That's why most of your water are polluted. They carry all kinds of diseases that contaminate the water environment. All right. So when you talk about what contribution are you making, my question to you here is, what type of contribution do you want? Do you want monetary contribution? I don't have no money. Do you want an informed contribution, like giving you knowledge? That I have. But people are telling me now to hold back, all right? To hold back on those things, all right? I don't mean to be too nasty to you, but I'm just trying to help you understand stuff, all right? Yes, all right? So let's make progress here, all right? Let's make progress here. Let's go back to the video. If you need any lecture, come here and meet me one-on-one. We'll talk about that, all right? Because as an environmental scientist who work in many states in this country, we deal with water significantly, all right? Processed water, commercial water, construction water, tap water, they want in here, and different water, and we treat it at different level, all right? So if you need a lecture, come and join me here because that's my area, all right? So don't go there with me, please. All right, so guys, let's make progress here. All right? Let's make progress. Let's go back to the video. So we're going to look at women right under our government and their violation under our tradition. So let's listen to this. All right, let's listen to this here. Let's make progress here. All right, so listen to this sorrowful story here. We'll play now to the end because we are pressed with time. So let's listen to her here.
The people of this day spoil the culture. At the time I was a very young girl, our fathers then, they do this as a wood to find out fat. But the way they're doing it this time now, they put Igbo inside.
Padie o, dunyenye se kanu o, badidaje o, dunyenye se kanu o, badie, 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 badie o, dunyenye se kanu o.
In the 2007, it was very bad because at the time, women were treated, they never had no voice. Women were naked. They sat women in the sun and they make some of them even sexually abused and say, I dare you not to talk it. And women were abused, but at the time when we started the advocacy, along with other partners, women get to know the story. But yet and still, the challenges are there.
They are tweet what they are bad dear, and they are my bad dear. When you churu, tia jere se kan churu nyenye, enie bunu them. You see that the ukwe, it a party are churu se kanu, and more come you would, more say get wood you, and you are more wood you know.
Advising our people from time to time. Quite recently, a woman was naked. She was caught doing witchcrafting, having gone to court. The traditional culture of which she was not member grabbed her. Why you think the people were brought to justice? That were made. So when the culture leave, you that behind, the law grab you. The woman was naked from door to door, from door to door. That's how I was called to go there. And we brought the people to justice. Yet then we took to Putupo Jotukan, and they were fined 1 cow, 4 goats, because of wrong tradition.
Now they are doing now, it look like the first with women. Only because you are a poor woman, sitting down to that village, do not have nobody, they will say you wish, and they will treat you bad. And they catch me, they don't do it to me. But with the women, when they catch us, you must request for 2 things. They will naked you, they will rape you, and then you will have to pay their fine. They can make some of the women there, their children go out with them. And when they're doing that, they will say, our part there, also, woman cannot go there.
All voices having business before this honorable court are admonished to draw near and give their attention, for the court is now sitting.
It is social pressure from the community. If you say that I cannot go, I'm waiting for my lawyer, or there is no trial by OD, which you don't know that is in the Constitution, before you could come to me and say that they gave me trial by OD, and they put color on your foot. They give you water to drink. No trial by OD. I will wait. I'm calling my son to talk to. I'm calling somebody I want to get advice. Nobody will carry you and give you some kind of water to drink or put collars on you, hard collars on you. No, it can't happen. Because when we want to talk here by no trial by OD, they say we are the ones that are supporting the witchcraft and this and that.
Traditionally, wherever all of the tribes in River G migrated from, I do not know. But on the other hand, this time we are seeing women like in the culture, due to the cultural activities that are going on. Why you finding people that carry on wrong cultural activities? Women somehow were strongly, highly respected. Violence against women. A woman cannot be naked publicly. Traditionally, its own tradition completely. You got to go to the law or be punished by the traditional people themselves.
We need awareness, total awareness, very much awareness. Awareness will be good because they are doing this thing out of ignorance. So they need to be told that what they are doing is not good. So the government have to try their best to go extra mile to stop this Sasewu thing.
The culture that we have can be in the present day, can be in the olden days, of which we are traditional people. We will never forget our culture. Only our sons and daughters need to attend the culture school and understand the rightful thing to do.
You're going to look at chapter 3 of the Constitution. We have to do with fundamental rights. Then you're going and look at the domestic law. Let's try to make a reform.
So there go the woman there. She died. She died from that torture. She died from that torture. So what have we learned here, folks? What have we learned here? What lesson have we learned here today? For me, it is a war between keeping the traditional standard. I don't see that as culture. I would say keeping the traditional value of our tribal people, how women are treated when it comes to what they describe as violation. And then when you look at our constitution, what should be the due process of how people who are on some suspicion of misbehaving, how do they get treated? So you got two things going on. You got the traditional justice system, and then you have the constitutional system of justice. But in either case, one is advocating for women's rights, the other is using the traditional standard to penalize or to punish a woman for doing something that they see as the wrong thing. So the question here now is, you listen to the lady who I believe is an advocate for women's rights. What is Pisota, who is the Minister of Gender? What is her stand? What is she putting in place? What bridge or bridges is she trying to build between the traditional way of treating our sister, our mom in today modern society that is governed by our constitution? Do we allow tradition practices across our country to treat people illegally, especially violating their rights, when we have a constitution that is the organic law of our country? That is the second question that I will leave with you guys tonight. First is, what is the gender minister doing to be able to create a bridge between what is right in terms of women's rights and what the traditional leader need to understand? Two, the traditional leader are using their own standards to treat and violate the right of women in our part of the country and other places. But we have our organic law that is the Constitution of Liberia, and it covers all counties in the country. And in that law, it gave due process to human rights. Now, the third question here is the Minister of Gender, Children and Women Protection, is she reaching out to the Ministry of Internal Affairs to raise the issue about women rights being violated under the Constitution? Because the Ministry of Labor is responsible to work with the traditional leader across the country, providing them, like the woman said, we need awareness to do away with Sasewu. That's what the woman said. So if she listened to that woman, please, she should be reaching out to the Minister of Justice and say, the Minister of Internal Affairs, and say, we got a problem here. I know you run the affairs of this thing. We need to sit down with President Weah to discuss how women are being violated when it comes to how they are treated if they are found guilty of something wrong. We do have a constitution, and we want to make sure that the constitution be the supreme process that we go through. How do we work with you, the Minister of Labor, of Internal Affairs, to get this thing done. Then, for quality assurance, for society assurance, those who will be victimized, you bring in the Ministry of Justice that will come and say, yes, we do have laws in the country. So we'll bring the Ministry of Justice into the process too. Yes, we'll bring the Ministry of Justice into the process. Now, those who administer the Sasewu, they are essentially workers that they get from other villages and bring. Then guess who you bring in next? You are bringing in the Ministry of Labor to see whether that practice is accepted as part of our labor practices. And then when you bring the ministry together, you begin to brainstorm as to what will be the give and take. Maintain some traditional practices, but let it be done with the idea of protecting women's rights in our country. Like you heard what the woman said, they're treating women in a very different way than they would treat men. Will it be possible one morning when that town of River G, when the people wake up one morning, all the women are gone to go live in another place, or maybe go to Montserrat County to live, and say, we're not going back to River G? How do we expect to grow the future when it comes to having children in River G when women are accused? You listen to the young guy who is the traditional guy. From what I understood from him, he is having issue with modern day culture because he comes from a traditional system that don't want to accept the way of life now. Like how the young gets dressed nowadays, he's not a big fan of that. But if we want to move our country forward, the democracy we want, it comes with so many lifestyles that we have to struggle with. Are we ready for it? See, it's one thing to have the democracy, but you cannot customize the democracy to say, make my tea with just one lump of sugar or give me all the lump of sugar. No. Democracy comes with package, and everything in that package is what democracy is all about. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom to live your life in any shape and form, as long as it doesn't poses a threat to your neighbor. But we're not looking at it that way, folks. Whatever our tradition say no to, your democracy not coming here. So the bottom line here is, prior to us introducing the democracy we're talking about, did we educate our people? Did we tell them the democracy we're talking about here? It's not only about voting. It's about people living the way they feel they want to live. It is a Western democracy that comes with a package. So if you run a traditional belief system in your county, you must be willing to accept how other people will live their life. Those of us who are children in the Western world that dresses any way they want to dress. If you take them to River G right now, and the way they dress from here, would it be appreciated? And don't even ask me because my wife is seeing my children not going down there. I'm saying, they're not going there. They're not going there. She said, they're not going there. They are not going there. So where are you going to take them? Well, take them to Montserrat County. They're not going up there. They're not going up there. So, all right, as a children, I'm just asking. But the question to you here is, are we willing to compromise some of our traditional belief? Or will we allow the women to be treated that way? I leave that question up to you guys to think about it. Yes, but it is a very sad story. It is. Yes. So the president hasn't done anything to address the situation. You imagine that the issue women are facing in that part of the country and other traditional practices across the country with the modern day of our democracy that gave everyone a right. Your right to exist is not only a constitutional right, but it is a God-given right. God did not tell us to live certain ways. He just told us if our ways doesn't represent the way he pleases, according to the Bible, there will be consequences when the appropriate time comes. But he's not restricting us. Men have made democracy a form of practice that gave everyone who practice that democracy the right to live how they feel as long as it does not interfere with their next door neighbor. However, the same democracy say if you did something wrong to somebody, you have to go through a process called due process that the court will afford you and then you will be judged. They're not going to naked you, they're not going to do this to you, but our tradition will continue to do that. So, guys, until then, thank you guys so much for the time today. It has been a great time, and we'll be seeing tomorrow. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me. And we are signing off now. But before I do, we look forward to the coming administration to begin to address these things little by little. Because to overturn a traditional belief, you are looking at 9 months to a year of discussion because you're going to start to explain things and they're not going to accept it. They're going to sleep over it. They're going to push back. They're going to reject, but you don't give up. So that's something that Mr. Cummings will be looking at as well. How do we work with our constitution for, say, our traditional practice? And how do we come to a common denominator that everyone will have some level of satisfaction into? Mr. Weah has failed the people. Peaceful time, if she listen to this particular video clip, she will understand that she failed the people. She failed that responsibility. Women are still being treated like slaves. Their rights are taken from them. There is nothing being done. One of the quick things to do, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, with the power invested in him, can authorize the superintendents, the town chief, the council of chief to immediately suspend that practices because it is affecting and interfering with the people's right as human being. They can suspend that and then start to look into other solutions to solve the problem. But the Minister of Gender did not raise that issue. How would the people know that? So, guys, thank you very much. This is Jay Randy signing off. You have yourself a good day. Yes, you have yourself a good day. All right? See you guys. I'm tired now. See you guys, and then we'll be back here tomorrow. All right? Where it is, and I hear see again. Joseph Kono George Weah is not our president in NATO. And there's another here will carry people now. I see y'all guys. You take care. God bless you guys. It's after 12 midnight. I see you guys. Thank you guys. Please share the video. Please hit the like button. You hit the like button, please. Please hit the like button. I'll see you guys. Hit the like button. All right. Please hit the like button. So good night to every one of you guys. Thank you for staying around. Thank you so much. Good night. And I'll see you guys. All right. Bye-bye.